The news from Wednesday was a reminder that we still have to kind of hold our breath a
Yeah.
little bit, but I think we're getting closer and closer and closer to the point where we can exhale and say, let's enjoy the Super Bowl. And when we do, we may see number 81 in pewter and white, and that would be Antonio Brown. Tom Brady yesterday in his latest media session was asked about Brown and the work that Brown has done to put some not all that long ago ugliness in his rearview mirror. Here's Brady on Brown.
Antonio and I connected right away, and he has a great love for the game. Is a real perfectionist about how he plays, how he takes care of himself. Incredible football IQ, and then again a great skill set just as a player, and I think made incredible strides over the last 12 months to get from where he was at to where he's at now.
Well, I think one of the reasons he made incredible strides, Chris, is because Tom Brady decided, I am going to get directly involved in getting this guy pointed in the right direction. And this isn't a charity case by Tom Brady. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
If Antonio Brown wasn't Antonio Brown, he's not going to be living at Tom Brady's house. He's not out here looking for wayward individuals that he can try to help turn their lives around. This is a guy that can help Tom Brady get to where he wants to be, which is the top of the mountain for the seventh time. So because of that connection they made during their brief time together in New England in September of 2019, Tom Brady was willing to do what he had to do to speak to Antonio Brown's better angels, to get Antonio Brown to avoid self-inflicted wounds, to get Antonio Brown ready to contribute to the football team, and when called upon, he has.
Yeah, no, he has. Yeah, certainly. I'm sure there's selfish reasons there for Brady, wanting to keep the friendship alive or be attached to Antonio Brown. I mean, there's no doubt. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as a competitor, hey, that's part of competing. Oh, hey, I'm gonna be a free agent. Hey, what? You're a free agent and you're good too? And whoa, if I just stay in contact with you, maybe we can be on the same team together and you can help me win more? Yes, I think there's that aspect, of course, but I think there is still a human element here too that I don't think we can just brush over. I do think that there is a common bond, and you can see it just there when Brady talks or anytime he talks about Antonio Brown, where yeah, maybe their lives are very, very different outside the walls of football in a football facility. But the one thing you know about both of these guys when it comes to football, there's a psychoness in their approach and their detail and their work ethic, and they live it. And, Brady talked about him being a perfectionist and being all over every detail. Well, that's like Tom Brady. So I'm sure they could hit it off on a personal level very easily that way. And that helps the friendship along, to go along with it. So, hey, I'm always happy to see a guy get his life straightened back on, the straight and narrow. That's a good thing, even though it's been some troubling stuff. There's no doubt about it. Everybody deserves a second chance and even a third chance. I'm not even opposed to that. And Brady, yeah, selfish a little bit. Okay, so what? But I still think it's all a good story and glad to see that,
Right.
They're on the same page.
I mean, I'm not saying so. I mean, it's part of the reality.
No, I know.
mean,
I know.
Let's not fool ourselves into thinking that this
Definitely.
guy is Mother Teresa.
No.
He's trying to help himself. And I think it's okay to say that.
Yeah.
He's trying to help himself win a Super Bowl. That's why he's been behind Antonio
I wasn't
Brown.
attacking you.
Now,
All right.
now, here's the problem. Before Antonio Brown can get redemption, he's got to be ready to be redeemed. Let's listen to some of Brown from yesterday, and let's ask ourselves, this is a guy who really has accepted the fact that the things that have happened in his life are more his fault than someone else's fault. Here's Brown from yesterday.
Antonio, when you talk about staying disciplined and doing all the right things, what were some of those things and what did you learn? What did you change to be able to get back to here?
Well, it's all about, controlling your emotions physically, mentally, when you don't feel good, not being a slingshot when others come at me, learning how to control my attitude, not letting my emotions get the best of me. Even if I feel someone was wrong for doing what they did, just being forgiving and just staying positive.
What do you want your legacy to be? And do you regret that whole year and a half that you went through before this?
Well, I want my legacy to be a guy that was persistent, a guy that never gave up, no matter the odds, no matter the hate, uh, no matter the scrutiny, no matter what I went through. I want my legacy to be a 6th-round kid from Central Michigan that never gave up, uh, earned everything he got, persevered through every adversity, and a guy who had the will of a champion.
See, some of that stuff at the end was a flash of other things he said, painting himself as a victim, complaining about the haters. The problems he's gone through the last 2 years, really, ever since we first found out about the frozen feet from the cryogenic chamber gone bad, something that you caught wind of before anyone else. Remember that July, August 2019?
Yeah, right.
That's when the dominoes started to fall for him in a negative way. And we already had known about, the exit from Pittsburgh and the whole Mr. Big Chest and everything he did to get out of there. But it all settled down, and it looked like it was going to work with the Raiders. And that's when it all just fell apart. And it just kept falling apart and falling apart. And the thing that's still hanging over him, the civil lawsuit for sexual assault and rape, this isn't a situation where there are haters. There are things that he has done that has gotten him under scrutiny, that has gotten him into trouble, that had him plead guilty to felony charges for an altercation with the driver of a moving truck last year, right around this same time frame. Got him suspended 8 games. The NFL still hasn't acted against him on this pending lawsuit, and depending upon how that goes, he could get disciplined again. And frankly, if he testifies under oath in that case, in a deposition, the way he behaved in another lawsuit, the one that involved him throwing furniture off of a balcony of a high-rise apartment building, that it's not going to go well for him. He doesn't submit to authority well. He doesn't answer questions well when challenged by haters, as he would call them. That's the issue that's front and center, and I saw a lot of blowback against him yesterday, and rightfully so, for trying to characterize himself as a victim, Chris.
Yeah.
He's not a victim. He has victimized people, allegedly or actually. He's not a victim.
No, I mean, agreed. That doesn't make sense. Hey, listen, I like the fact that he's obviously reflected on the way, he's handled himself to a degree. I mean, he talked about not letting his emotions get the best of him. We've seen him act appropriately. We haven't even really seen him act out on the football field in any crazy way, like get in people's face or do anything like that. But yes, I mean, there does seem to be a little bit of a lack of compassion as far as what he has done to others. And you're in the boat you're in because of you. There's nobody else. It's not because of haters or anything like that. In fact, I would almost go like the opposite for a long, long time. I mean, he was just the bed of roses always for Antonio Brown. He could do no wrong. Hey, look at all the fantasy points. Oh, so what? He said he was going to punch that ESPN reporter's jaw off. Who cares? He got all that stuff. He got a free pass for a long time because he's so charming and has that great smile and that way of life about him. So, you can't cry, foul now when you've kind of made the bed you're sleeping in.
That's a great point. That is a great point because it wasn't until 2018 training camp when that happened. Somebody from ESPN had the audacity to actually take a closer look at Antonio Brown, take a closer look at things that people around him were saying, and that set him off. He directed some anger at Ed Bouchette, formerly the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, now of The Athletic, and we started to see these little things that were making us say, wait a minute, is this guy who we thought he was? And then it all culminated in the events that resulted in him tweeting his way out of Pittsburgh, and it just continued into 2019. And then it becomes more serious when the guy's sued for sexual assault and rape, and the case is pending, and it goes to trial December of 2021. And my guess is at some point this offseason, he will be required to go to a conference room at a lawyer's office, go under oath, and answer questions. And based upon his past experiences of having to submit to that authority and answer those questions, there's a chance it will not go well. And there's a chance that transcript and that video will get him in more trouble with the league and or the Buccaneers, assuming he signs a contract to come back for next year.
Well, I mean, listen, I agree with you there. You've been saying that from the start about him getting in front of somebody in the deposition. You could see just in those two little comments we had right there, you can strike a nerve a little bit with certain things to where he went down the haters road and all of that type of stuff to where you go, whoa. So yes, I understand. He's not out of the woods yet. We're going to see, but glad it's going in the right direction. And certainly it's being helped out by Tom Brady, who's there to kind of watch over him a little bit.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.